Let's do the African Union anthem before we take our seats, please. You may be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. We are very, very honored to have with us today distinguished guests from across Africa, including representatives of the UNDP, Afreximbank, African ambassadors, high commissioners, of course, the Embassy of Japan to Nigeria, to mention just a few. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, you remember the applause that you promised me you were going to give at the beginning. This is a time that we need it the most. Because at the LCCI, we are very big on honor. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the only way you can join me to honor and recognize and appreciate the following persons is to put your hands together in a resounding applause. Let's test it out. A round of applause. Aha! I love it. Thank you so very much. So kindly join me as I recognize and honor and welcome as well our distinguished guests. Thank you. Let me begin with the LCCI Powerhouse. Now, I can see budding youngsters at the back, and so let me quickly let you know what the LCCI stands for. The LCCI stands for the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, a lot of times, many people just think that it's about the business opportunities. But you see, far beyond that, the LCCI is positioned to ensure that not only do we have the conversations that is needed to move business forward in Nigeria and across Africa, but to put together events like this where youngsters like you can come so you can have an understanding that what makes Africa tick is not just the people, but the commerce, the innovation, and the shared perspectives that we are going to have this afternoon. So please open your hearts, open your minds, and please put your hands together as I start with the president of the LCCI, who is ably seated this afternoon, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, FCA. Please keep clapping. He's the president and the chairman of Council LCCI. Thank you very much for honoring him. Thank you, sir, for putting all this together. Very up next, I would like to recognize and introduce to the House the Deputy President, LCCI, Engineer Leye Kupoluyi. A round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to also recognize all LCCI EXCO members present. I would also like for us, ladies and gentlemen, to put our hands together because I can see on seat the immediate past president of the LCCI, Asiwaju Dr. Michael Olawale Cole. Please, a round of applause for him. He was the immediate past president of the LCCI and is here present this afternoon. You're welcome, sir. In the same vein, as I continue to introduce to us the LCCI Powerhouse, ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased to also recognize the presence of all past LCCI presidents present. And I would also like us to recognize the chairman, the Trade Promotion Board Chairman and Vice President of the LCCI, Prince Abimbola Olashore FCA. A round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen. I can also see seated the Director General of the LCCI, Madam Chinyere Almona. You're welcome, ma. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. Of course, I recognize the presence of all Trade Promotion Board members present and all Honorary Life Vice Presidents present. Thank you so much. Your support means a lot to us. Moving on very quickly, I mentioned earlier on that we have quite a number of distinguished guests that we have invited for this Africa Special Day. I'd like to start with the representative from the Embassy of Japan to Nigeria, Mr. Kozaki Itoshi, the Deputy Head of Mission. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make him welcome. In the same light, ladies and gentlemen, I have here His Excellency Ambassador Christophe Bazivamo, the High Commissioner from the Rwanda High Commission in Abuja. Thank you so much for being here. As I continue to recognize our distinguished guests, I have the privilege to also recognize and introduce representatives from Afreximbank. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Senior Relationship Manager and Client Relations, Adeni Olukoya from Afreximbank. Thank you so much for being here. In the same light, don't let your applause get tired. Please put your hands together and give a warm welcome to Dr. Sherifat Omokide, Operations Manager, AATC Abuja. Now, I also have here some other persons, and please, if they are in the hall, because I do not know everybody, please kindly rise if it is you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to introduce to us Mr. Ella Onoja, the Deputy Director, Export Development and Incentives, NEPC. Is he in the hall? You're very welcome, sir. Thank you so much. The applause is getting tired. Are you tired? Yes, Kay, you cannot be tired. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I also have the privilege to introduce to us the Head of Business, FCT and Northern Nigeria from EcoBank, Mr. Michael Oyeyola. Is he in the hall yet? You're so very welcome, sir. Thank you so much for being here. I'd also like to recognize and introduce to us the representative from UNDP, the Regional AFCFTA Analyst, Ms. Nozifo Lofe. Is she in the hall? I'm so sorry, you might have to teach me how to pronounce your name. I'll come for special classes. Thank you so much. In the same vein, ladies and gentlemen, also from the UNDP, I have the Head of Exploration, Ms. Latana El Hassan. Is she here? Ms. Lovely to see you, ma. Thank you so much. I love your outfit, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I am still in the business of honoring and recognizing our special guest. And of course, we're going to have a panel session later. So I have a couple of persons that will be on that panel session. So please put your hands together as I introduce and recognize Mr. Gabriel Jaba, who is the CEO of Integrity Link Logistics. Thank you so much for being here. In the same vein, I would also like to recognize Ms. Adebisi Odeleye, the founder of More Organics, a cosmetics company. Thank you so much for all the good work you do for the African skin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to formally set the tone for this special celebration of African enterprise under the AFCFTA, please join me in welcoming for his welcome address the President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, FCA. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep clapping till he gets here. That's the Chairman of Council of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for his welcome address. Please keep clapping. Thank you so very much.
The President of Afrexim Bank, who is duly represented here today, the leadership of the UNDP, represented by Ms. Lantana El Hassan, the Embassy of Japan, our very highly honored ambassadors and heads of missions, Rwanda, and other countries, Japan, the leadership of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, starting from the chairman of the Board of Trustees, and one of our very revered past presidents of both the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and the National Association of Chambers of Commerce in Nigeria, Chief Odeyemi, who just came into the room. We want to thank you very much for joining us. Chief Odeyemi has put more than 50 years, running to 55 years of service to the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce movement. So we are really honored to have you here today. We also have past president who was introduced earlier, the immediate past president. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are honored today to host representatives from across Africa and beyond. This is the whole of Africa in this room, our friends from outside Africa. At this event, which is a very, very special event. It is very special. We could say it is the most important event every year in the Lagos International Trade Fair, the Africa Special Day. The Africa Special Day is part of the entire Africa program for the Lagos International Trade Fair, which is made up of the Special Day and the Africa Hall. I hope that some of us have been able to visit the Africa Hall. And it's a concrete demonstration of our commitment as a country to promote intra-Africa trade in actual terms, getting all Africans to get into Lagos and trade for 10 days. So that's why it is extremely special to us, and we are really grateful to UNDP and all the other partners, the Japan Embassy, that have supported the project this year. The Africa Hall project itself is in its 6th edition, and it has become a platform that brings together exhibitors from African countries under a dedicated platform, the Africa Hall. The vision of the Africa Hall is to have all 53 countries in Africa be in one hall and do business together for at least 10 days. That is the vision of the Africa Hall. And every year we are getting closer and closer to that vision. We are having more African countries coming, and we want to celebrate all the African countries that are here this year. The project celebrates Africans' tenacity, resilience, and an entrepreneurial spirit, and provides opportunities for more trading in practical terms within Africa. The several innovations brought into hosting the annual fair reconfirms the resolve of LCCI to create unending opportunities for connecting businesses and creating value across Africa. The World Investment Report 2024 revealed that the global foreign direct investment fell by 2% to $1.3 trillion in 2023 amid an economic slowdown and rising geopolitical tensions. The report emphasizes that business facilitation and digital government solutions can address low investment by creating a transparent and streamlined environment for businesses to thrive. It highlights significant growth in online services and information portals, saying that such tools also support broader digital government development, benefiting developing nations in particular. We call on African countries who are well represented here to continue to improve a transparent and streamlined trading environment to boost intra-African trade. Trade and investment facilitation aims to simplify procedures for investors by increasing access to information, enhancing transparency, and streamlining administrative processes. Digital government platforms are key to effective implementation. Since the UN Trade and Development launched its Global Action Memo for Investment Facilitation in 2016, online single windows in developing countries like Nigeria have increased from 13 to 67, and in developed countries from 12 to 28. Information portals for business and investor registration has expanded from 82 to 124 in developing countries and 43 to 48 in developed countries. We call on governments that have policies for single window trade portals and one-stop investment portals to implement them in adherence to international best practices. The federal government of Nigeria launched our national single window project in August this year to boost Nigeria's trade and economic development. We commend the launch of this transformative initiative, which aims to streamline trade processes, reduce bottlenecks, and increase transparency, positioning Nigeria for further economic growth. The Nigeria Single Window Trade Portal is a cross-government website that opens an era for trade facilitation by offering a single portal for trade actors, both national and international, like many of you in the hall, to access a full range of resources and standardized services from different Nigerian government agencies. The single window portal facilitates trade by offering a platform for users to do the following: consult trade information online. For example, tariff research, arriving vessels, and related regulatory guidelines. Submit trade documents and track their trade transaction status. Pay online through various online payment facilities. Access help desk, trouble tickets, and other support services for online users. Quickly reference important information on different government agencies, as well as a link to their websites through a convenient hub. The LCCI itself works closely with embassies and high commissions, and we are grateful for those who are here with us today, to provide useful information on the economy and available investment opportunities within Nigeria. The embassies also see the Chamber of Commerce as a veritable source, and indeed a source of credible business information that their home countries can do business with. This way, the Chamber of Commerce serves as some kind of guarantor for the local companies, at least in providing credible, reliable information. We continue to contribute immensely to the implementation of trade agreements among countries and within regions. For example, we have contributed to the implementation of the ECOWAS regional agreements, the AFCFTA, the Africa Growth Opportunities Act, and similar multilateral agreements. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is an active implementation partner of the AFCFTA and hosts a desk for the National Action Committee in collaboration with the AFCFTA National Secretariat. We engage in public policy advocacy towards creating an enabling environment for cross-border trade, economic integration, competitiveness, sustainable growth, and investment flows. Our doors are open to you all to consult us on how to trade within Africa and beyond. This brings to fore the reasons why you see Afreximbank participating regularly in the Lagos International Trade Fair, and also our participation in the Intra-Africa as an intra-Africa trade partner. We are a consistent partner of the Intra-Africa trade partner for all the years, including the last one that took place in Algiers. The participation of Afreximbank in this year's fair is quite significant, as it gives them the opportunity to mobilize exhibitors for the next trade fair, the Intra-African Trade Fair that is taking place in 2027, right here in the city of Lagos. The Africa Hall project itself continues to attract robust sponsorship from Afreximbank, for which we are extremely grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you most warmly to this fair and urge you to explore the opportunities the trade fair presents for networking, knowledge exchange, negotiation of commercial trade deals across borders, and building inroads into the African continent. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for that inspiring welcome and for setting the stage for what promises to be a very rich afternoon. I would like to quickly recognize this. Give me a second, please. Okay, yes. I'd like to quickly recognize this person who came in while the president was making his speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Director of Business and Enterprise Promotion, Private Sector Directorate, ECOWAS Commission, Chief John Umoren. A round of applause for him, please, ladies and gentlemen. Also, you're very welcome, sir. Also, I can see to my left the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. You see that applause needs to be loud right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Chief John Agbola Odeyemi, MFR, who is also the Obashawa of Ile-Ife, Osun State. You're very welcome, sir. It's always good to see you, sir. Now, we will now take our keynote address, a session that would be taken by the UNDP representative, who is also the head of exploration. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up here Ms. Latana El Hassan for her keynote address. A round of applause for her as she makes her way up. Please, this applause needs to be sharper. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to address you all today. I'm here speaking on behalf of Madam Elsie Atafwa, UNDP Nigeria Resident Representative. Your Excellency Gabriel Idahosa, President and Chairman of the Council of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. His Excellency Mr. Kozaki Hitoshi, Deputy Head of Mission, representing His Excellency the Ambassador of Japan in Nigeria. Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors and heads of delegations, esteemed business leaders, of which there are so many in the room today, dear partners, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to welcome and join you at this Africa Day event at the margin of the 2025 Lagos International Trade Fair. The first key objective of addressing intra-African trade and partnership resonates deeply with the continent's one market ambition through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. I'll start by commending the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for spearheading this vibrant trade fair again this year. We appreciate your partnership with the government of Japan in supporting this Africa Day session. The theme of today, boosting intra-African trade and investment through financial solutions and partnerships under the AFCFTA, is topical. At a moment when protectionism is on the rise in some parts of the world, Africa must integrate. With over 1.5 billion today and a projected 2.4 billion people by 2050, the continent represents both a vast market and a pool of talent. Greater regional integration is critical for positioning our continent as a driver of global progress and the future. It also allows the continent to attract resources, not from a place of charity, but of strategic investment for regional value chain development, innovation, and sustainable development. Several countries, including Nigeria, are strengthening their positions as trade, production, and consumption hubs. And the AFCFTA represents more than just a trade agreement. It embodies our collective aspiration for economic transformation and shared prosperity. The emerging One African market offers unprecedented opportunities, ranging from clothing, textiles and apparel, leather and leather products, agro-food processing, pharmaceuticals and vaccines, automotives and services, to cite a few. These opportunities allow businesses to grow beyond national borders, leveraging regional trade deals. However, reaping the benefits of these opportunities will not be automatic. To achieve these, we need deliberate actions in a few key areas, which I hope the upcoming panelists can address later this afternoon. First, we need to foster partnerships. These should focus not only on policy, but on productive capacity building and market access. They will contribute to boosting trade volumes for value-added products, which are essential to create values internally and generate much-needed jobs. Secondly, we need to bridge the digital divide. Digital tools and infrastructure are key facilitators of trade. Strengthening digital capabilities and entrepreneurs to scale production, reach new markets, and regional value chains will be very important. Third, building MSMEs' capacities in production and trade at all levels. The success of integrated markets depends largely on MSMEs' capacity to meld value chains. Deliberate support to these entrepreneurs to meet compliance requirements, as well as accessing low-cost financing, remain top priorities all across the continent. Fourth, financing of businesses through dedicated mechanisms that respond to and reach their needs. We need innovative and blended financing schemes, as well as public-private partnership models, which should be leveraged for better outcomes, and which we should have metrics and mechanisms for tracking to show that their outcomes actually result in good financial returns for partners across board. At UNDP, we view successful regional integration as a powerful vehicle for inclusive growth, sustainable development, and peace. Our commitment to this vision has driven our partnerships through our AFCFTA initiative in Nigeria and other countries, for example. We are turbocharging women entrepreneurs with strong productive capacities to trade in regional markets. More than 15,000 women entrepreneurs across the continent have benefited from this and similar programs over the past 3 years. Through our Timbuktu initiative, we're also sparking Africa's startup revolution, especially for youth, with an ambition to support 10,000 startups over the next 10 years, with the hope that this will generate billions in value creation. Through partnerships with the government of Japan, we are leveraging investments and collaborations to unlock market opportunities for the private sector. We're also facilitating public-private sector engagement and collaborative investments through SDG investor maps. These maps provide investors with market intelligence, investment opportunities, and business models that advance the SDGs. Investor maps are available for several countries, including Eswatini, Ghana, Kenya, Mauritius, Namibia, Nigeria, of course, Rwanda, South Africa, Tanzania, and Uganda. Additional maps are currently under finalization in a few other countries. So the task before us is clear. We need to translate regional integration's promise into real opportunities for inclusive growth and sustained development. Strengthening productive capabilities, aligning investments, mobilizing resources, and co-designing innovative financial solutions will ensure that the One Africa market works for every entrepreneur and every country. The Lagos International Trade Fair remains a key platform to foster engagement and leverage business-to-business experiences that bridge markets and investments within and beyond Africa. UNDP, through our country offices and regional programs, stands ready as your trusted partner on this journey, providing policy advice, technical support, and coordination. Together, we'll build an integrated African market that truly works for us and for a lot of the young people at the back of the room who are listening today. Thank you very much for your attention and for inviting us here today.
A round of applause one more time to say thank you to the head of exploration, Ms. Latana El Hassan, who is representing the UNDP resident representative in Nigeria, Ms. Elsie Atafua. All right, very quickly, I'd like to bring up for another keynote address, the representative from the Embassy of Japan to Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, with a very warm welcome, please put your hands together for Mr. Kozaki Hitoshi, the Deputy Head of Mission. Please keep clapping till he gets here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, Mr. Gabriel Idaho Osa, our President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, our distinguished representative and members of LCCI, UNDP, distinguished business leaders, representative of government and the private sector, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a great pleasure to join you today in this important side event for Africa Special Day, organized by the UNDP at the Lagos International Trade Fair 2025, the West Africa's largest annual trade fair. First, let us emphasize that this event is very timely, as Japan successfully hosted 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 9. This is the summit meeting between Japanese and African leaders, which was held in Japan in August this year. Japan highlighted its strong commitment to supporting a more robust regional integration and connectivity through the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, which the Japanese and African leaders endorsed as a key and priority area moving ahead. We commend and support and appreciate UNDP's partnership with Japan and its leading role in promoting inclusive growth and private sector development across Africa. This event, under the Japan-funded, budget-funded project, Unlocking Trade and Investment Opportunities in the context of AFCFTA, marks another important milestone in Japan's partnership with Africa in collaboration with UNDP, co-organizer of TICAD 9. Government of Japan is proud to to fund this initiative with a total amount of the $1 million USD, and Japan selected Nigeria as a key country to implement this project, along with the other countries such as Ghana, among others. This project aims to strengthening institutional capacity, enhancing understanding of the AFCFTA regulations, and building bridges between Japanese and African enterprises. This project demonstrates Japan's willingness to support and accelerate Africa's regional economic integration and foster enabling business environment to strengthen the role of the private sector. In this connection, I'm pleased to mention the important role played by the Japan External Trade Organization, JETRO, in bringing Japanese enterprises to Nigeria. JETRO organized a strong Japanese business delegation this year to the, as you can see, in the Japan Pavilion right next door, showcasing nearly 30 companies and at the Japan Pavilion in key sectors such as agriculture, machinery, ICT, and consumer goods. Their participation reflects Japan's continued confidence in Nigeria and in Africa's expanding market. Likewise, we also commend UNDP's effort to spotlight Africa's micro, small, and medium enterprises from Nigeria and other countries at this trade fair. These enterprises are key representative for the future of African growth story. By connecting them with innovators, investors, and Japanese partners, we are helping them integrate into regional and global value chains and expand their reach under the AFCFTA framework. Ladies and gentlemen, our shared goal is simple yet powerful: to unlock immense potential of AFCFTA, a market of 1.46 billion people and combined GDP of $3 trillion USD. This is not just a regional integration project, it is a vision of economic transformation, and Japan stands firmly as partner in this journey. Through this collaboration, we are not only advancing trade, but also supporting innovation, skill development, and sustainable business model that create decent jobs and foster inclusive growth. The Lagos Trade Fair, with its diversity of exhibitions and investors, offers a unique platform to turn idea into real partnership. As we gather here today, I encourage all partners, governments, business leaders, and development partners to seize this opportunity to forge lasting partnership. In closing, I wish to commend UNDP, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Government of Nigeria, and all partners for their dedication to this initiative. Government of Japan remains committed, strongly committed, to deepening our collaboration with African countries, promoting innovation-driven trade, and strengthening investment linkage that advances sustainable growth for both of us. Together, let us continue to turn the opportunities into partnership and the partnership into prosperity. I thank you very much for the attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please keep clapping. Keep clapping. That was Mr. Kozaki Itoshi, the Deputy Head of Mission from the Embassy of Japan to Nigeria. Now, the African Export-Import Bank, also known as Afreximbank, is the biggest promoter of intra-African trade and finance. And so this next session, we'll be taking a look at products and services and how Afreximbank is positioned to help our businesses. Now, to do that and, handle that presentation, I need you, ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding applause to warmly welcome to the podium the Senior Relationship Manager, Client Relations, Mr. Adeniyi Olukoya. A round of applause as he comes up here to present Afrexim products and services.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to stand on existing protocols and also thank the LCCI team for a wonderful trade fair event. We're pleased to be here as a key partner to LCCI and a key promoter of trade on the continent. So I'll take you through a quick session. I'll try to not dwell too much on all what we're doing, because if we start going through everything in its entirety, I don't think we will close today. But I'll take you through some of our programs and products at Afreximbank. Let's focus first on the introductory slide. And the key thing I wanted to highlight is the bank's mandate, which is to facilitate, promote, and expand intra and extra-African trade. That essentially is the essence of the bank, a bank that was created as an opportunity that rose from adversity. So here, this is just a brief background of the bank. Was founded in 1993 out of adversity. It was a period where there was a lot of pullback internationally in terms of funding for trade. The commodity super cycle happened, and the international banks who had essentially been financing our trade since the time and the era of slave trade, and they financed all the trade out of the continent of our resources. And essentially, it got to a point where they viewed the continent as high risk, and then decided to de-risk, pulling lines and access to lines from African institutions and corporates meant that we could not trade efficiently. And so the bank was set up as a supranational financial institution to step in and to act as the financier to ensure that at no point in time in the future would we be left hanging and not have the financial wherewithal to trade across the continent or to harness our resources. And the mission is to stimulate a consistent expansion, diversification, and development of African trade while operating as a first-class, profit-oriented, socially responsible financial institution and a center for excellence in terms of African trade matters. There are 4 classes of shareholders. We're present in 53 African member countries, so there's only 1 country in Africa which we're not operational in, and also 13 Caribbean member states. Essentially, to develop capital, you have to develop and build bridges beyond your home. And that's what we've done with the Caribbean in terms of building a bridge between us as Africans and Africans in diaspora in the Caribbean. In terms of our locations, our head office is in Cairo, and then we also have regional offices. We have a regional office in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, that covers Francophone West Africa. We have in Abuja, Nigeria, which covers Anglophone West Africa. We also have one in Harare, Zimbabwe, which covers our Southern Africa operations. And then we have in Kampala, Uganda for East Africa, Yaoundé, Cameroon for Central Africa. And then we have Bridgetown, Barbados, which was the last regional office that was opened 2 years ago to cover the Caribbean as well. In terms of our credit rating, we are investment grade rated, which is key, because to be able to make the required change on the continent, we need to operate as a financially stable and sound institution. And we leverage that to help finance and support trading activity by lending that credit rating or credit status to our counterparts. So essentially, like I mentioned, it was in response to the global debt crisis. There was an opportunity to address those issues, and our forefathers, African institutions led by the African Union, put together a committee to see how to support trade to ensure that we're not in a position to depend solely on external financing for our resources. And this resulted in a drastic reduction in trade financing in Africa. In 1993, the establishment agreement was signed, and we obtained the supranational creditor and tax status, which essentially also provides a preferred creditor status to ensure that the bank is able to be sustainable in terms of being able to support. We are instituted by charter, and in the last 32 years that the bank has been operational, we have become a cornerstone of promoting intra-African trade and value addition on the continent. So I'll touch on now on our strategic plan, because to understand how the bank intends to make this change and live up to the mandate, this enduring mandate, we need to look at the strategic plan. And the bank operates on a 5-year strategic plan. The last version was Impact 2026, so from 2022 to 2026, and it was extending the frontiers, basically building up on the 5th strategic plan, and is hinged on 4 pillars. And the first pillar is intra-African trade and AFCFTA implementation. And now, the intra-African trade is essentially the arrowhead of the bank's strategy. Historically, intra-African trade pales in comparison to intra-continental trade on the other continents. For example, intra-European trade is at about 65%. Intra-Asian trade is about 67%. Intra-American trade is about 44%. But intra-African trade, as at the last check, was around 17%. As at the time this strategy was being implemented, it was about 13%. So we still have a long way to go. And that's why the bank has it as the arrowhead of its strategy to promote intra-African trade and the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Arrangement. And we do this in 2 ways. By financing, so directly financing trade between African entities or African countries, and then also facilitation. And that's essentially a lot of what we are doing with regards to the AFCFTA, how we continue to support the AFCFTA to stand on its own, so that we can then use that to create and facilitate the enabling environment to ensure trade can occur seamlessly across African countries. The next strategic pillar is industrialization and export development. And this is key because we all know Africa is a continent with rich resources. We have resources everywhere, across, resources you can't find in most places across the world. But historically, we have had to export those resources in raw form, in raw commodity form, and then import those exact same commodities, however, as finished goods or processed goods. So that's why the second pillar of our strategy is to ensure that we can promote and support export manufacturing and value addition. We also have the third pillar, which is leadership in global trade, finance, and banking in Africa. And then also financial sustainability, which is essentially, it's important for financial stability to be able to finance and support trade on the continent. So I'll just quickly run through. In terms of our key modes of intervention, we do this through credit, so direct financing, trade and project finance, advisory, so we have an advisory and capital markets team that supports, and then also risk-bearing instruments, so guarantees and off-balance sheet funding, as well as other complementary initiatives, so payments, facilitation, trade information, and the likes. So I've been told I have to move quickly. These are just some of our product offerings. I've highlighted the key ones: the trade finance, line of credit. We offer lines of credit to financial institutions because of that convening power we finance them to also on-lend into the markets as well, to catalyze the development on the continent. So I'll move quickly to what we also have here is what we call a project preparation facility. And the project preparation facility essentially was conceived by the bank to support projects. Because one of the key reasons why projects fail on the continent is because there are not adequate studies done at the feasibility level, so early stage financing. And the bank is keen to support that. And we have programs, facilities for that. So to finance feasibility studies, technical studies, project structuring, and to be taken out once the projects become bankable. This here is eligibility criteria for facilities. We would need the business plan, feasibility studies, audited financials, proven track record, and then also where we are lending directly, we look at an assets base of about $2 million, but we can also, in instances where this is below, the opportunity is below the threshold, we can do on lending, working through other financial institutions to also support. In addition to direct financing, we have some key initiatives that I wanted to highlight. We have what we call the African Quality Assurance Center. The first of this was done in Shagamu, and it's supposed to support quality assurance, testing, inspection, and certification of goods to ensure that they are in line with world-class standards. With this, it's easier to get goods acceptable in export markets because it meets a minimum certified benchmark standard. We also have the African Medical Center of Excellence also that opened in Abuja, which is to stem the tide of medical tourism, where resources are spent to fly abroad for medical treatments. We have this center in partnership with King's College Hospital in London, right there in Abuja. We also active in terms of special economic zones and then also climate finance initiatives. I would also like to just highlight as well, we launched in April this year the Afreximbank Africa Trade Center in Abuja, which is an initiative to establish an integrated trade center to support business information, trade, exhibitions, and investment promotion. We also have state-of-the-art hotel as well in that complex. It's right by the Ministry of Finance in Abuja. It was just launched this year, and it's a wonderful edifice that was set up by the bank. And this model is being replicated across the continent, with another one coming up in Kampala and in Cameroon. But the first one was here in Nigeria, in Abuja. We also have the Intra-African Trade Fair, which we're so gratefully to LCCI, who participated actively at the last edition in Algiers. And it's important to also highlight that the next edition will be coming to Lagos for the very first time, IATF 2027. I was privileged to be there when it was unveiled by the Honorable Minister, and I know the amount of work that has gone into it to ensure that we are in position to host the world, because that is what happens at the event, where thousands of people are coming in to see your products, to showcase your products, and to take it back to their countries. Transactions will be done, trade deals will be done, business supported and originated, and it's important that we know 2027 is just around the corner. We need to start making sure we are ready and in a position to host the world by then. And then we also have the African Sub-Sovereign Government Network. The next edition will be in Cross River, in Calabar. This is essentially a platform for sub-sovereigns to come together and meet with the private sector and see how to support and finance projects in their regions. So the next edition will be in Cross River and Calabar in 2026. So we would also be hoping that the community is ably represented. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm being told that time is up, but please, if you have any questions or want to know more of what Afreximbank is doing, we have a booth at the Africa Hall, and we have a full suite team ready to take any of those questions. Thank you very much.
Please keep clapping for him. That was Mr. Adeniyi Olukoya, the Senior Relationship Manager, Client Relations, Afreximbank. Very quickly, I will be bringing up for a remark and presentation the High Commissioner of Rwanda. But before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recognize, I skipped this name earlier on, please forgive me. I'd like to recognize the UNDP Regional AFCFTA Analyst, Ayumi Mini. Thank you so much for being here. A round of applause for her, please. Thank you so much. I also want to recognize the presence of students and teachers from the following schools: Reagan Memorial Baptist Girls Secondary School, Saboyaba. It's lovely to see you. As well as Trinity International College of Fada, Ogun State. Thank you for being here. All right, before I bring up for his remark the High Commissioner of Rwanda to Nigeria, I'd like to actually bring up here the cultural troupe, the cultural dance troupe from Rwanda before the High Commissioner comes up. Are they ready? Can I have the Rwandan cultural dance troupe up here? All right. Yeah, here. I can see the Rwanda dance troupe at the door. So, is there something they're supposed to play? Yes, they can come in, please. Yes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Rwandan dance troupe as they make their way to the front. Ladies, please let's make it very snappy. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please jam your hands together for the Rwandan dance troupe. That was amazing. Woo! Honestly, I think I need to take some dance classes because I like to see people dance, but I cannot do it. Why? I hope that the Rwandan High Commissioner, when he comes up here, before he gives us his remark, will please tell us the name of that dance. Seriously, I'm interested. I want to be taught. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up here for his remarks the High Commissioner of Rwanda in Nigeria, His Excellency Ambassador Christophe Bazivamo. Please jam your hands together for the High Commissioner of the Rwandan High Commission in Nigeria as he makes his remarks.
Thank you. To respond to your question, the dance name is Umushayayo, so or Rwandan dance. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me stand on protocols already observed. And let me also, before I start, say that I am together with Chantal. I wish her to come here. Chantal is the representative of Rwanda Development Board. And as she is here, I would wish not to go into business opportunities, which I want actually her to talk about very, very quickly. But Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Gabriel Idahosa, Your Excellencies, Vice President and former President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Your Excellencies, representative of different countries and different institutions, let me use 1 minute just to say I thank the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for having invited us, for having organized this very, very important African Day. And before that, I wish to emphasize the fact that Rwanda is very happy for the good cooperation and good collaboration existing between Nigeria and Rwanda, and also the good collaboration and cooperation between the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Rwanda Private Sector Federation. And here it is a good opportunity, as you are on African Day, to mobilize for Africanness. And here I wish to emphasize that, as the ambassador representative of Japan has spoken about it, the African Continental Free Trade Area is a big market, which we all need as African. But we need to do what is required to be done so that we can actually benefit from the positive gains of this integration. When it comes to integration for Africa, I wish really to call upon everyone here to be an advocate for the African Continental Free Trade Agreement implementation, but also for the African free movement of people to be ratified by all partner states in our continent. Now it has been signed by all countries, but yet to be ratified by, again, all countries. It is important it is concluded. The other element, we are happy as Rwanda, having signed a double taxation avoidance agreement with the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which facilitates actually business people not to pay double taxation when they are doing trade in both countries. And we think it is important we mobilize all partner states in Africa to move that way, to allow our business people not to pay double when they are doing business between countries. And this is very important. In the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, we foresee traders to move freely in our different countries. And here, the issue of visa has to be tackled. We appreciate countries, including Rwanda, who are applying visa-free policies and inviting you to come Yes, it is right. You are most welcome in Rwanda, and you are actually to come without any visa as African, as people from the Commonwealth, or people from the Francophone countries. So I wish to conclude here by saying that this goes together with opening actually our sky. Nigeria and Rwanda have an agreement when it comes to aviation, and it is the reason why you have Rwanda Air flying to Lagos every day. And here it should be open in the whole continent so that actually it becomes easy to do travels, but also to do business. Your Excellencies, I wish to stop here by just emphasizing one last element, the element of standards. We are hindered here and there when doing trade by standards. We have to comply with standards, but it is important the processes are actually easy. And here, the African Continental Body, which is the African Standardization Organization, has come with an African standards. So let us, our Standards Bureau at national level, while they are giving the national standards market, give also the African one, so that when they are certifying their product to be allowed to be traded in their own countries, to allow them also to be traded in other countries. If it is done by many countries, this reciprocity will play a big role and will ease business throughout the continent. So let us all be advocates of this process. I conclude here by inviting my sister, Chantal, to just talk shortly about opportunities in Rwanda and invite you to come and invest in Rwanda, to come and visit Rwanda. Chantal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. I just want to add one thing. He said that Africans don't need visa to come to Rwanda. I just want to add that even other nationalities, they need just to come to Rwanda and get visa upon arrival without prior application. So before that, then we can, let's just have a we need volume so that
Embark on a transformative journey, ideal for.
this is
Welcome to Rwanda, a world of endless opportunities, where innovation and growth converge against a breathtaking backdrop. This is your opportunity to embark on a transformative journey, ideal for organizations seeking new horizons. In the heart of Africa lies Rwanda, a nation that has not only overcome adversity, but has emerged as one of Africa's most promising business hubs. Here, the prospects are boundless, and the incentives are abundant. Imagine a nation renowned for its ease of doing business, with a government committed to fostering a conducive environment for foreign investments. The World Bank ranks Rwanda as one of the top countries in Africa for business-friendly policies. Picture a workforce that is young, dynamic, and eager to contribute to your success. The government of Rwanda's commitment to technology and innovation creates the ideal setting for your business to thrive. With a rapidly growing digital infrastructure, your company can harness the power of connectivity like never before. From the vibrant streets of Kigali to the lush landscapes of the land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda invites companies and investors from all around the world to be a part of its success story. Be it in finance, technology, manufacturing, renewable energy, mining, or any sector, the possibilities are endless. Therefore, if you're a company with a vision for growth, Rwanda is more than a destination. It is an opportunity to be part of a nation's journey towards transformation. Discover Rwanda, where innovation meets opportunity and where your business aspirations can thrive. The future is here, and it's calling you to do business in Rwanda.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the video really summarized everything about the opportunities, about the incentives. So what we are saying is come, visit Rwanda, invest in Rwanda, do business in Rwanda, and meet in Rwanda, and buy from Rwanda. That's the message today. So anytime we have a stand there, you can visit us. We have a business delegation here. You can have a discussion and we'll share more opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause one more time. Now, before we move into our panel session, before we get into the crux of the matter that we're here to discuss today, I have the pleasure to bring up for another performance an African dance troupe. Ladies and gentlemen, this time around, put your hands together because this dance will be coming from Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, jam your hands together for the cultural dance troupe for their next performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please jam your hands together for that explosive performance. Isn't the African culture beautiful? It is now extremely beautiful. All right, very quickly, before we move on to our panel session, I'd like to confirm if the representative of the Kenyan High Commission is in the hall. I'd like to confirm that very quickly. Okay. Oh, you are? You're so welcome, ma. Thank you so much. I didn't get that information early. Thank you so much for being here. In that same light, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, in the next 2 minutes, put your hands together as I bring up Joyce Owusu Kwateng, who is a representative of Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Please put your hands together for her for a very, very quick remark, extremely quick remark in the next 2 minutes. Please keep clapping till she gets here. And while she's handling our remarks, I would like the representative of the Kenyan High Commission to also prepare for her remarks. You're welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I bring you warm greetings from our CEO, Mr. Francis Kwadwo Kwateng Arthur. I would like to stand on existing protocols and acknowledge everyone here. I would also want to appreciate the LCCI for their invitation and all the support they have given us. Ghana, as usual, we are known for our hospitality, and we warmly invite all to come and invest in Ghana. There are endless opportunities, and I would just want to touch on a few of the export-oriented investment opportunities in Ghana. So we are looking at the cocoa derivatives, and by cocoa derivatives, we are looking at cocoa paste, cocoa powder, and then the chocolates as well. We have artisanal chocolatiers, and we need a lot of investment in that area. We are also looking at our shea butter, our fruits, and then the cashew processing. We need a lot of support in that area as well. Our tourism sector also needs a lot of support. And then another fascinating area is the medical services. We have a lot of top-notch medical centers, and a collaboration or investment in that area could also help. And then vehicle assembling and manufacturers, we have a lot of foreigners coming in. We have the Volkswagen, we have the Toyota, and then we still need more investment in that area, as well as the auto parts and then accessories. And then in the area of technical support for some of these big vehicles, when they are faulty, we have to send them outside. So we need technical support in that area as well. And then the textile and garment area also needs support. I would like to end here and thank LCCI, and then also ask that you all visit the Ghana stand. Ghana is represented with 39 companies this time around, and we are there. Thank you very much. And our doors are open. If you have any questions, you can walk in and then we would assist you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much. That was Ms. Joyce Owusu Kwateng from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the representative of the Kenyan High Commissioner, Modesta Achieng Odiambo. Please put your hands together for her as she makes a very quick remark before we move on in the program this afternoon. Please keep clapping for her. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Very much. Good afternoon. Habari zenyu. Hey, nobody has been to East Africa. Habari zenyu. You say mzuri sana. Yeah, that's better. You know, they say Kenya is the gateway into East Africa and the rest. So if you've not been to Kenya, you've not been into East Africa. So karibuni nyumbani, welcome to Kenya. We have a stand here. How many of you like coffee? You know, we have one of the best coffees in the world. Please pass by. We have very good coffee and have a taste of what Kenyan coffee is. As you are aware, we are also some of the best producers of tea globally. So we welcome you. You come, we talk, we see which areas we can partner on. Mine is just to echo what my my senior balozi from Rwanda said, that we need to trade as Africa, and for that to happen, we have to be able to move. We have to be able to move goods, we have to be able to move service, and to move people. Rwanda is visa-free, and I want to echo that Kenya is also visa-free for most African countries. For example, if you're a Nigerian, you have 60 days free in Kenya without any visa. So let's move, let's open our borders, let's trade. Kenya has also made the business environment very friendly. It is very easy to establish a business, and as you know that we rank very high in terms of digital services. Most of the services are digitalized. You don't need to be physically into offices to do that. So I want to welcome you to Kenya, and before then, please pass by our stand at the Kenya High Commission for further discussions on the opportunities that exist within the country. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the representative of the Kenyan High Commissioner, Modesta Achieng Odhiambo. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the UNDP panel session. A round of applause, please. All right, so for the panel session, we'll be having 5 panelists and 1 moderator. However, before the panel session starts proper, we would also be having a very short presentation by the UNDP, but it will be done cohesively so that we can maximize our time. So ladies and gentlemen, our agreement is that we honor everyone that comes up here, yes? So please, as I'm inviting and welcoming, I need, you see, I can only use one hand here right now. So I need you to lend me your hands and jam them together as I bring them off stage. Is it an agreement? All right, thank you. Thank you for that example. Thank you so much. The first panelist I'd like to bring up here this afternoon is the representative from the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, Mr. Ella Onoja. He's a Deputy Director, keep clapping, thank you. He's a Deputy Director, Exports Development and Incentives of the NEPC. Please keep clapping till he gets to his seat. He's one of our panelists for this session. You're welcome, sir. Please have your seat. You can choose any chair. All right. Now, the next panelist that I'll be bringing up here this afternoon is a representative from EcoBank. He is the head of FCT and he's the head of business FCT and Northern Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, please jam your hands together for Mr. Michael Oyeyola. Keep clapping, keep clapping. Okay. Next, I have the pleasure to introduce the representative of the UNDP. She's a regional AFCFTA analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Miss Nozifo Lofi. Keep clapping for her, please. She's the UNDP regional AFCFTA analyst. You're very welcome, ma'am. Now, since the conversation on the UNDP panel session will not be complete without sampling businesses from 1 or 2 African countries, we also have 2 members of the panel that are business owners, you know, in the house. So ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Ghana, I have the pleasure to introduce and invite to the stage a businessman, Mr. Gabriel Jaba, who is the CEO of Integrity Link Logistics. Keep clapping, which is a logistics solution business. And of course, in the same vein, I have the pleasure, in fact, I am particularly, should I say biased towards this particular brand because If you are looking for somebody who is interested and passionate about the African skin, it is this business. And so on that note, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me our next panelist, a businesswoman from Nigeria, Miss Adebisi Odeleye, the founder of More Organics. Keep clapping for her, please. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. And finally, I have the pleasure to bring up stage and to introduce to us the moderator of this panel session. Ladies and gentlemen, the Director of Research and Advocacy at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. You're not clapping yet. Put your hands together for Dr. Sonny Omeza Michael. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping till he gets here. He'll be moderating this session as I hand over to him now. You're very welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you afresh to this panel session where we're going to be talking about the African Free Trade Zone, area. Of course, we've said so much about this agreement since it was approved. So many countries have signed to it. So many discussions have taken place. But till now, as we speak, it's not fully operationalized. So we'll continue to talk, we'll continue to engage, I'll continue to talk more about what is hindering the operationalization. Why is it not operating yet? And that's why I'm so sure, as I start from the ending today, that by the end of this panel session, you will have an opportunity to learn from the experiences of the panelists you see. This is not about theories. It's about panelists that are ready to share experiences. They have traded across borders in Africa, and they are coming now to tell you what they have seen and what you should do to tap into the opportunities. But before we dive in straight to this panel session, we want to give 2-3 minutes to UNDP that is hosting this session to tell us who is UNDP and what they do in Africa. So permit me to invite the regional, let's invite Ms. Ayumi Mine to give a short description of what UNDP Africa does in Africa. Let's put hands together as Ayumi Mine comes on board. Please come.
Thank you very much. I know you are so excited to be ready for the panel discussion, so I'll be really quick. So before diving into the panel discussion, let me introduce who is UNDP. We are the regional AFCFTA team, and we have the 2 areas of the work under our portfolio. Yeah, the first pillar is we are supporting the MSMEs to enhance their competitiveness, capacity development, production capacity, and access to the market. So we are here to support the MSMEs to get more market and more business connections. And the second pillar is we are also supporting the policy areas, which is we are supporting the African Union states. We are supporting more than 30 member states in the area of the regulatory and institutional areas to develop their institutional and regulation capacities. Then, as I introduced, we've been supporting over 30 member states as well as over 40,000 MSMEs so far. And also, 60% of the MSMEs are female, and 50% of the MSMEs are youth. And based on the survey we conducted last year, 60% of the businesses are feeling our support is very useful and contributing their businesses. So, yeah, this is the explanation. So please remain being with us for the next panel discussion. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayumi, Mine. Thank you. Right, we diving straight with the permission of the president. We're moving straight to the panel discussion. I'll be starting with the business from Ghana. And but before I take my seat, it is to let you know that for us in Nigeria, trade across Africa is quite serious to us. And that is why, while this first started this week, we had the federal government approve some 3 policy frameworks, one for intellectual property, the other one actually for digital trade, and the third one for export of services. We believe that these policies are meant to boost intra-African trade. So we can say Nigeria is very much ready, and I want to believe such so also for other countries. Right away, we'll dive into the panel discussion, and I will be starting with the business from Ghana. And that will be represented by Mr. Gabriel. We would like to share, Mr. Gabriel, from your business experience, your trade across Africa, from Ghana to everywhere, what will you say has been your experience with these opportunities, risks, and challenges? And what your recommendations will also be concerning your experience of trade across Africa? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. As been introduced, my name is Gabriel Jaba. I'm the founder of Integrity Link Logistics. We are mainly into shipping and procurement services across the globe. We are known as an industry where we help customers to penetrate the market, especially the African continent. Some of the opportunities that we've seen over the years is that there is a unified market access by the AFTA. We have seen that through the AFTA, we have a unified access to market, as we have seen Rwanda mentioning of free trade entry, visa free and all that. There is that opportunity, and with the Ghanaian and the Nigerian brother and sister relationship, we have that kind of relationship that people easily move goods and services. But there have been one major challenge. I've always been saying that for every industry to strive, or for any continent, or like for AFTA to be successful, we cannot relegate logistics to the background, because logistics is the backbone of any striving industry. If you go to the advanced nations that we mentioned, maybe Japan, China, going to the Europe and the US and all that, they invest heavily into their logistics industry. When you come to Africa, we have a lot of people who have product to showcase, but in terms of movement became a challenge. So we have the tariffs that has been reduced, but the non-tariff barriers, that is maybe, for example, taking some of the standardizations that are not, we don't have a unified standardization system. So you pick something from Ghana, it gets to Nigeria, there is a different approach to it and it's been rejected, or even the borders, having challenges with numerous borders and all inspections, the same inspection done from one border, you get to another border, they will do the same inspection. There is no kind of integration that will give access that, okay, once it's expected at Lome border, then when it gets to Nigerian border, we know that the job is done. That is not there. And it has placed a lot of restrictions on movement of goods. So in as much as I would love to advise that the AFTA and then the development partners like the UNDP should help and invest into logistics, that it is not only investing into the mode of transport, but also the means. Because we are working on the modes, which is the roads and all that. But the means are not there. We don't have a regional hub. Let me just talk about, I do a lot of shipment from, I have warehouse in China. I have 2 warehouses in China, which is in Guangzhou and Yiwu. There is this that anybody, maybe for example, my sister who is doing the cosmetics, she cannot do full container from maybe Nigeria to Ghana, but she can do about 10 boxes or 15 boxes. But that platform is given when you get to maybe China, that he can take it to a regional consolidation hub where goods are coming directly to Nigeria or coming directly to Ghana. But when it comes to the African continent, we don't have such. So I would push and I would advocate that we should have a regional hubs, that logistics partners, there should be partnership. We must promote partnership among logistics companies that will be able to help, that if I'm sending my goods from Ghana to Nigeria, there is a logistics partner that will help to facilitate and move my goods to the various customers. So these are some of the opportunities and the challenges that we're facing in the industry. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for that experience shared. Clearly, we have serious issues still concerning movement of goods across the continent, and also harmonized standards. So something we'll be talking about. But let's move to the business in Nigeria, represented by Mr. DBC, from the cosmetics, creative, fashion sector. You've interacted and engaged with Japanese counterparts, right? You've interacted with Japanese businesses. What will you say you have gained from such collaborations and partnerships from Chinese businesses? Sorry, Japanese companies, please. Japanese.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adibisi Odeleye. I'm the founder of Morganics. We had the privilege of interacting with Japanese companies a few days back through the UNDP platform, and it was really, really beautiful. I majorly interacted with the cosmetics brand that came, that's Bay World, and in my conversation with her, it was interesting because they wanted distributors in Nigeria. But I think that Africa and Nigeria, we've gone past the point where people just want to bring in products to us. We believe that our products, our raw materials, our finished goods also can thrive in any place across the world. Do I have anybody that supports that? Thank you very much. So one of the things I mentioned to them was, it's fantastic that you have a good product, but we also, just as we want to penetrate into the African market, we also want to penetrate into the Asian market. Can we have a two-way relationship? So it's not like it's only Nigeria that is receiving. We should also be able to give you some of the best knowledge that we have. Thank you very much. And that being said, we also, one of the things I also talked on was the importance of carefully understanding where we are as Africans or as Nigerians, as businesses. How do we leverage on partnering with these people? They are good, Japanese companies, when you come to skincare, when you come to fashion, in their right, they are extremely good and they are also standardized. How do we benefit and how do we build a good relationship? One of the ways we can leverage is through research and development. Research and development, primarily because they have more technical and more insight into research more than we do in this part of the world. If you've interacted with people in pharmacology, for pharmacology, the herbal part of pharmacology, you would understand that there are some of the raw materials that we have in Nigeria that are not fully unearthed, not because they are not good, but because there are not sufficient research to show the impact and the medicinal parts that they carry. So one of the things I also spoke with them was the importance of having shared knowledge, exchange of knowledge. We give them some of our raw materials. Let's do research together. Let's collaborate on it together. Let's see some of the things that we are not paying attention to that we can leverage on. And another thing we spoke about in my interaction with them was the importance of leveraging on their technology and their technical know-how in setting up and in also scaling a business. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the experience shared. Clearly, we want to export. We don't want to be a country where you just come dump your products. We also want to get market access to other countries. We talked about this on Tuesday during the Chinese panel, yes. And I will be asking the representative from Nigerian Export Promotion Commission, you help businesses to export, go into other foreign countries. But we'd like you to tell us what opportunities are there that you share with these foreign companies when they come for them to explore opportunities in Nigeria and also across Africa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
moderator. In Nigeria, talking about opportunities that are bound in Nigeria, anybody, any Nigerian can do that. Unless you have not gone far into this country. Nigeria is blessed with more than 53 solid mineral deposits. If we start from the solid mineral sector, opportunities are bound there. We have the limestone. Of course, that is the reason why we have several cement companies in Nigeria, because Nigeria is endowed with a lot of limestone, a lot of, we have gold. I don't want to, because I have so much to talk, so I'll just tell us, we have more than 53. Recently, we discovered, Nigeria discovered lithium in Nasarawa State in large quantity. And you can't be talking about electric vehicle without lithium. Yeah. So, Nigeria, talking about opportunities in Nigeria, in the solid mineral sector is diverse. When you go to the agri sector, it is said that Nigeria arable land, that is the land that you can cultivate, is 36.9 million hectares. And out of this figure, we are only able to cultivate 6.9 million hectares. So we have about 30 million hectares that we have not touched. And it may interest us to know that Nigeria is, when they say Nigeria can feed the world, actually it is not far from the truth. Because the agroecology of Nigeria favors the cultivation of even crops that are known to do well in temperate countries. If you have ever been to Gembu in Taraba State, you will understand what I'm saying. In Gembu, I was there, the very first time I was there, I was behaving like somebody that was mad. Because the cloud you see up there is within your reach. As a ball of cloud is rolling, I will just spread my hand and then go through them and then pass through them. So at a point, I say, people are looking at me, let them not think I'm a madman and I'm very, very far from my state. And then bundle me and take me elsewhere. Because, and in that environment, apple will do very well there. Coffee Arabica will do very well there. Cocoa will do very well there. And of course, tea. And we have a belt from Taraba State, in Gembu in Taraba State, to Cross River. And across that belt, you could grow crops that do well only in temperate countries. When you talk about coffee Arabica, you are talking about Kogi State, you are talking about Oshun, you are talking about, it can do well in up to Ogun State, through Ondo State. In Nigeria, we have a pineapple belt from Cross River through Edo Delta up to Ogun State. In that particular belt, the phosphorus in the soil, which is one of the elements, you know, for crop to do well, you need nitrogen, phosphorus. The three major elements are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So, apart from that belt, pineapple can also do well in other parts of the country. So, from the north to the south, the number of crops that can do in Nigeria is unimaginable. And we are talking about in commercial quantities. So, Nigeria, if in terms of investment opportunity, Nigeria actually is the home for any investor to invest in agriculture, in solid mineral, in manufacturing. Because when you talk about manufacturing, you need sometimes some of these crops to turn them into finished products. So eventually, it translates into having a robust manufacturing industry, which we are doing very well. We have a lot of fertilizer, a lot of chemicals that we produce in Nigeria for export. At a time, I think was it last year, fertilizer export took over from cocoa, sesame seed, and ginger that we used to know. So I could go on. And even in services export, shortly before the program kickstarted, I sat down and I listened to Momo, the program that Momo organized here. Okay. This is another area. In services export, Nigeria, there is a lot of opportunities there. The moderator is already looking at me, so I guess he wants me to stop. So okay. I could actually go on and on.
Yes, you've given a caveat that you can go on all through the day, and we don't have all that day, all that time. So we'll go ahead. But when we hear about the potentials, is why we at the chamber, we are quite restless about advocating for an enabling business environment where all these potentials can become reality. So we keep hearing about these potentials, we know. So I think what is remaining is those potentials becoming products and services for Nigerians. And I know the government is doing a lot of reforms to see that happens. But from the private sector side, we're quite restless because we want to see those potentials actually become our reality. But thank you for that intervention. I will go to Dr. Ife Ogo from the UNDP. We know clearly that the development partners have contributed so much to development in several sectors. But we'd like you to share with us, particularly talking about this AFCFTA, want to tell us what your capacity building interventions have been like and what businesses in Africa should be looking forward to, yes, in the coming months and years.
Thank you very much for that important question. Firstly, my name is Nozipo Shope. Sorry, Madam Ogo could not make it, so I'll be representing UNDP today. I believe as UNDP, we don't only see the AFCFTA as a policy agreement. I believe it's an opportunity for us to realize inclusive growth and structural transformation. And I think we do this to ensure that countries are able to unlock the very potential that you've been speaking to in three key ways, I believe: capacity building and skills development, making sure that we leave no one behind. We work very closely with women-led organizations through our programs and initiatives called her AFCFTA. We have initiatives for the youth called the Youth Africa Export Accelerator Program, which ensures that women and youth-led enterprises are capacitated in a way that they're able to take ownership and actually lead in realizing this agreement. I think secondly, what is important to us is also policy advice and research. We work with institutions such as the AFCFTA Secretariat in ensuring that we're able to identify the real gaps, the regulatory irregularities that exist, and see how we then leverage on that and close the gap. I think the other thing that's important to us is partnerships and ecosystem development. We work very closely with the government of Japan, the African Development Bank, the MasterCard Foundation, the African Union Commission, to ensure that this agreement is people-centered, in a sense that it is one that creates dignified jobs for people. It creates an environment where entrepreneurs are empowered, where no one is left behind, particularly women and children who have been left behind historically due to the bureaucratic brands that the world bears. And I think last but not least, to ensure that how do we work together, not only as development partners, but private sectors in co-creating these solutions. We need to make sure that private sector is not only a beneficiary, but can take ownership of what we are dispersing on the ground. It is one agreement that I believe should be people-centered, because at the end of the day, it will be driven by the people on the ground. UNDP has a program also that ensures that we have this capacity buildings that we've overly done as development partners. How do we then make sure that these enterprises have access to market? The Regional Supplier Development Program then ensures that over and above you being capacitated, we're able to identify an anchor, which is a buyer for you, where you can distribute your products to them. So in essence, you guys can look out for our programs like our AFCFTA, Youth Connect Accelerator Program, which ensures that people have access to finance, access to markets, and most importantly, access to networks. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Clearly, yes, access has always been an issue. We talk of finance, talk of markets, talking about skills development, because whatever you want to do, you have to be empowered to take advantage of that. Thank you so much. We at the Chamber, we always appreciate your interventions because we see the value of work you do. Let's quickly go to Mr. Michael from EcoBank. We would like you to let us know how you are deploying, because business is not complete until payment is paid and received. How are you deploying your digital platforms to empower traders across Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and everywhere?
All right. Thank you so much again, Mr. Moderator. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Oyeyela, and I represent EcoBank Nigeria. We may know within the room that as far as Africa is concerned, there are no banks in the world that know Africa more than we do because of our presence across the continent. We are in 33 African countries today where we operate. In terms of crystallizing the opportunities within the AFCFTA, rather than it being theoretical, I think the first point of call is an opportunity that you haven't seen, you cannot target. All right? How do people get to know what opportunities there are in those other countries apart from their own country? Part of what we have deployed is a solution we call the Single Market Trade Hub, where we screened participants. These are our clients. We've done KYCs on them, and we have them listed on our platform. And somebody in Nigeria can tell somebody who is in Rwanda who is doing a particular line of business that he is interested in, and they can connect there, okay, and vice versa. So that is one of the solutions which we have created within the room. Now, interestingly, we also integrated that system into a bigger system of Afrexim, which they call Mensa. And so today, EcoBank and Afrexim have integrated, we call it matchmaking platform, which allows different people across different countries to know they exist and then to relate. That's one. On the other hand is, like you did say, when you have traded, you want to collect your funds. Okay, how do you do it in the most efficient way? I'll first speak to our solution, and I'll speak to another solution that Afrexim has also created. We have what we call EcoBank Africa, or what we call cross-border rapid payment. Okay? Now, what this does is it allows participants or payers from any part of Africa where we are present to be able to transfer funds to beneficiaries without going through SWIFT. Or let me put it differently, if you're paying USD without going through America. All right? So without you going through SWIFT, a Nigerian can actually make payment to somebody in Rwanda, to somebody in Kenya, to somebody. Once you're paying somebody who is existing in our place of presence. I mentioned the 3 African countries. If you're paying anybody there, then you can leverage our EcoBank Africa to make that payment. And these are the benefits. One, it is fast, all right? Same day payment. Number 2 is you will not need to pay what we call offshore fee. And 3, which is about $50, by the way, which is not small. And number 3, you will not need to pay Swift Pay or Swift Charge.
Yes.
Okay? I know you want me to close.
Yes. I'm being pressured. So, but very quickly, before we, thank you so much for those solutions. I know you wanted to talk about PAPS, Pan-African Payment Solutions from Afrexim Bank. I understand that, but I know we also want to see how your solutions and other bank solutions connect to that global one. So, as we round up very quickly in 10 seconds, what will you say we should do right away? 10 seconds.
Okay, what I would say is let's unify the policy and the regulations so that as a Nigerian, I can easily trade anywhere in Africa.
I believe to realize AFCFTA's promise, we really need to unite on all fronts. And by this, I mean collaboration will be very key. Collaboration in policy, in finance, in advocacy. In order for us to realize that this is an agreement for us, by us, we need to open up our countries and make sure it works for everybody. Thank you.
Okay, on my side, I think after and development partners should help us integrate cross-border logistics network that will help facilitate easy movement of goods across the region. Thank you.
Okay, I think the engagement must continue. As a bank, we've had very rich relationship with ECOWAS, and where we trained women entrepreneurs who are also looking at trading within Africa. And what we did was to come together and develop their capacities so they can be better entrepreneurs on one side. And another side is we cannot underestimate the support of development financial institutions like Afrexim, AFDB, and I think that partnership must continue,
Okay.
especially given
Thank
the
you.
gap in
All right.
finance required for trade. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. NEPC.
Yes, from potential to reality. That will be my comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, distinguished panelists. We've come to the end of this panel session. Thank you for your time. With the permission of the President, we close this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sonny Omeza Michael, Director Research Advocacy, LCCI, for moderating that panel session. Please, before you go, I'd like to invite the President up. Can someone turn off this screen so that the picture can be clear? Thank you so much. I'd like to invite the President of the LCCI, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, FCA. Please keep your clap for our President now. Because we would like to present an award to the United, please don't leave yet so you can take pictures with the President. To the United Nations Development Program, we have an award to present to the UNDP representative. Also, while we are all taking pictures, please, panelists, I want us to take pictures with the President as well. So please don't leave immediately. Please, let's take a group photograph. Yes. Now, immediately after this group photograph, please, can I have the following people to join the next photograph? Can I please have the representative from the NEPC, Mr. Ella Onoja? Okay, he's already here. Okay. Can I have His Excellency Ambassador Christophe Baziavamo, the High Commissioner of the Rwandan High Commission in Nigeria, for the next set of photos? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You may take your seat, except the President, so that others can join him for another photo session. All right, very quickly, I would also like to have the representative of the Japanese Embassy to Nigeria, Mr. Kozaki Hitoshi, the Deputy Head of Mission, up here. Can I have Ayumi Mine, the UNDP Regional After Analyst, up here? Can I also have Mr. Adeni Olukoya, Senior Relationship Manager, Client Relations, Afrexim Bank, as well as Dr. Can I also have the Deputy President of the LCCI, Engineer Leye Kukpolui, up here for this photo session? Can I have Dr. Sherifat Omokide up here as well? I hope I have covered my bases. I think so. Okay. Okay. All right. Are we done with the photos? Thank you so very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please, you may have your seats. Thank you. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up here for the vote of thanks the Vice President, LCCI, and Chairman of the Trade Promotion Board, Prince. Hold on. Okay. Please, could you do this after? Please do this after. Could you stay over there for a bit? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I bring up here the Vice President of the LCCI and Chairman of the Trade Promotion Board, Prince Abimbola Olashore, FCA, for the vote of thanks. Please keep clapping. You're welcome, sir.
Your Excellencies, the President of the Lagos Chamber of Trade, of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, Deputy President, Engineer Leye Kukpolui, Past President, Mrs. Toki Mabogunje, board members of the Trade Promotion Board, council members, all our invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you filled with gratitude and renewed conviction as we close this special Africa Day session. Today has not just been about dialogue, it has been about direction. We have listened, we have learned, we have connected, and we are committed. And in doing so, we have fulfilled and lifted one another. Throughout today, one message has echoed clearly. Africa's time is now. All our speakers and all our panelists have reminded us that collaboration is indeed our greatest strength. No African nation can prosper in isolation. Our future lies in partnerships that transcend geography and politics. From trade corridors to digital networks, from cross-border logistics to cultural collaboration, the more we connect, the more we thrive. I want to assure you that today's conversations will not just end here. In the months ahead, we'll translate these insights into action. The Chamber will launch new trade missions, we will accelerate our business mentorship network, and we will champion the reduction of regulatory barriers that do hinder investment. We will create an environment where collaboration becomes culture and innovation becomes instinct. The presence of top African brands as our partners, including the Dangote Group, you have the MTN, Afrexim Bank, ECOWAS, UBA, and others, does confirm that the Lagos International Trade Fair brand has gained a continental influence in Africa and beyond. As we close this session, let us remember that Africa's story is being written by people like you, visionaries who believe that the progress is possible, prosperity is achievable, and unity is indeed very powerful. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry would like to thank you all for your presence, your passion, and indeed your partnership. Therefore, as we bring today's Africa Special Day to a close, may we leave here inspired to keep on lifting Africa through enterprise, through innovation and inclusion. Please travel safely, stay connected, and let us keep on lifting Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. That's the Vice President, LCCI, and Chairman of the Trade Promotion Board, Prince Abimbola Olashere, FCA. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for a fantastic afternoon. It has been a great pleasure standing here hosting this event. As we bring this to a close, I'd like to remind you that my name is Oluwayemisi Akingbola. I'm an event host and a communications coach. Till next time, I hope you have a fantastic networking opportunity. Please rise to your feet as we take the Nigerian national anthem to close the African Special Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Please be informed that I believe we have food.